Welcome back. The price of diesel has gone down by between R1.52 and R1.57 a litre after weeks, months of increases in the price of fuel in South Africa. Let's talk about what this will mean then for the freight business going into the holiday period especially. We're joined by Phadi from the Truckers Association of South Africa. Very good afternoon to you, ma'am. We've spoken online virtually. First time having you in studio. Welcome to Newzroom Afrika. So finally, a drop in the price of diesel. There was concern during the period of the rises. How much is this going to help?
Look, with the struggling economy, the whole decrease has been swallowed by the challenges that we have. If you look at companies, most of companies does their reviews on rates once a year, and few operators will get an opportunity to do that quarterly. And if you look at the 1st of October, we had our review already, and within the month of November there was an increase. So this increase is not making a difference because it has already taken from the pocket of an operator. And
when would you begin to see then the benefits? Would you need, would I be right to say you'd maybe need 1 or 2, 3, 4 months even of successive decreases in order to see the difference in what you make?
Definitely. Look, the load shedding has an impact as well. Because if you look at the weigh bridges and the warehouses where you load and throughout the place where you put in fuel, the delays that we have, and with the stage 6, it means that more companies are going to be affected, despite the fact that there's a relief of the decrease of the diesel.
I'm glad you mentioned the issue of load shedding because that can affect storage as well. And would I be also right to imagine that in some instances you may now have to travel longer distances in order to have fresh produce, for example, stored elsewhere, which is a double whammy, basically?
Definitely. Hence, we are calling for the migration from road to rail, because that will assist the current situation that we have in South Africa. And it will also assist many companies, because look, the more people get to delay somewhere, the more it gets to be expensive. And the more companies are not willing to pay for transport, and the more transporters are suffocating. So either or, it's quite an expense.
And with that in mind, it suggests then that we, the consumers who rely on you to move all of these goods, are still going to have to pay more because of the transport costs which have to be factored in.
Definitely. It goes to the end user. Whatever that we are discussing, whatever that we are engaging on, it affects the person on the ground. And look, we are coming from COVID. We thought we were going to come right. Then you have the situation of the load shedding escalating in this manner. It means that, businesses are going to close, unemployment is going to be high, and next year we'll be trying to find our feet, and that feet will not be yielding any results.
In the long term, load shedding is going to continue. Fluctuations in the fuel price, especially upward, are also predicted going into the next 12 to 24 months as well. When you look at all of that, could there be or should there be room, do you expect, for yourselves as the freight industry to now even renegotiate or relook the way in which you negotiate with clients to make sure that your agreements speak to the ever-changing financial situation?
Yes, definitely. In fact, we need to look at the issue of the rebate. We are engaging the government. They are taking long. But we are saying to them, let's try and find a solution in terms of assisting the trucking industry. Because if you look on all industries, mining, agriculture, at least they are being compensated. But the freight industry is not. And the regulation is going to assist us to be able to have much more voice of saying that assist our industry in such a way that it doesn't fall away. And as soon as the government realizes that there is no South Africa without trucks, then they'll be able to take a stand of saying, how do we engage each other, how do we assist each other?
What sort of rebate would that be? How would you want it structured as a sector?
Look, farmers are getting diesel next to nothing. And we are getting a diesel from the wholesale. And it's quite expensive to take it to the nearest yard where you've kept your trucks. And therefore, the minute maybe they look at what they are giving to the farmers, they can do the same with the freight industry. That will be a great relief.
Do you have a price, a percentage point that you think would make the most sense for you as truckers?
Look, from this year only, we started with 18 rand, around 18 rand 81. and last year we closed around 14 rands. And from that time until here, you know, there's a 10 rands difference. So one cannot be able to tell as to how much is the rebate that they are giving to farmers. But as soon as they do that, I know that they are paying almost half of what we are paying.
I want to talk to you about something else now, because we're going to the holiday period. A lot more people on the roads. Trucks have been involved in some of the worst crashes on the roads in the country this year, especially when you look at KZN, and in most, if not all of those cases, the finger of blame is pointing at the drivers, also pointing at you, the company owners, because the vehicles have been found or alleged to have been in poor condition, not serviced properly, and the rest of it. Are you actively working to make sure that all of that is addressed, especially now that more of us will be driving?
Look, we took an initiative as an association that we need to go out there and do a safety campaign where we engage the truck drivers on one-to-one. On Monday, we'll be in Piet Retief. We'll be talking to the truck drivers, and we'll take that same initiative to KZN and then Gauteng. But I think we need to reach out and talk to them, because previously there was never a safety campaign for the freight industry. And every time we didn't see these accidents, there's quite a lot of congestions of trucks that are going to the harbour because of the need of the coal that is going to Europe now. And therefore, most power stations are slowing down on coal. In fact, about 2 of them are not operating now. And trucks are trying to survive by going to the harbour, and therefore people are impatient, and they are coming all sorts of things, and companies want to make profit, and they are compromising everything.
But exactly that. So when you speak to some of the people who work in the freight industry, the drivers specifically, even when they don't want to be filmed or recorded for broadcast, they say, well, there's pressure on them to get the product from A to B in as short a time as possible. So it's one thing to have a publicity drive where you're saying to people, drive safely this holiday period, but if individual owners are saying to their employees, make the trip, for example, from Joburg to Durban in as short a time as possible, that cannot be done in the safest way all the time.
Look, we've signed the agreement around June, where the Minister of Transport has appointed the task team. And in that task team, one of the things that we've emphasized is that let's regulate the industry so that there is no free access to all, and people must take responsibility of the work so that we can be able to suspend any license of a person that is not doing right on the road. That process is going very fast, and that process is doing very well.
And how would monitoring work?
We will be monitoring them in terms of saying that be registered with the Department of Transport so that we can be able to know who you are. And as we know who you are, whom are you employing, how are you going to employ, we'll have a database. We'll have to be able to be policing the freight industry rather than currently where everybody is doing as they wish.
Mary Phadi from the Truckers Association of South Africa, thank you for your time today, ma'am.
Thank you very much.